Morning, everyone. How are you doing? It's Friday, Fantabulous Friday, day 3 of detox for this girl. Ugh, headache, not feeling good, but we're going to talk about how we push through that and still have a fantabulous day. Good morning, everyone. It is Carol Sue, aka Naughty Boss, live with
TwoSistas. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0. And yeah, there was some detox going on here yesterday, and I'll explain all that later because we don't want to get started with all the stupid shit, so to speak. But anyways, Fantabulous Friday. What does that mean for you? Obviously, yesterday was Trending Thursday. We didn't make it on. So what was trending for you yesterday?
Oh, what was trending for me? There was a lot of things going on. There were obviously the sad news that's going on in Bristol, Connecticut. Our thoughts and prayers are with those that serve, those 2 officers and the officer that is recovering and their families. I think for someone that news first came out, and obviously it looks like it was from what they're reporting that it was an ambush. It was a phony 911 call to lure, police coming and, willing to serve and not really knowing what they're going into. And, that piece of what happened occurred. And a lot of people, when something like that unexpectedly happens, and because of the times that we're in, it really has a lot to do with the times that we're in, where there are a lot of blue states that have, really had the narrative of defund the police, not having that support. So it brings up all these emotions. So I think what the trending piece was obviously the shock, the sorrow, really no words that you can say for that part of it. But then the debate gone on about, who's responsible during the climate. That was on one end, that was from the Northeast, but in the Southeast, what was trending quite a bit had to do with the Parkland shooting in Florida from years ago. And I really have to give credit to the governor of Florida, who really is a we the people person. He really felt, sadly, that in the state of Florida, we have the death penalty on the table. That is part of it. And when you are picked to be a juror, you know what's at stake. And you know the seriousness of a crime that would have to arise for that verdict to even, be entered. So you have to go there with an open heart, open mind. And sadly, 99.9% of the juries did. There was no question, this gentleman, I don't even want to call him a gentleman, this boy that's, I don't know what's wrong with his mind that he would do such a thing. But the intent was there. They proved, the prosecution proved everything, even though it was pretty evident that he was one who did that. And, you're talking about 17 lives. So I did watch part of the case. I heard the closing arguments, and I think the prosecution did an excellent job in really from a mental standpoint to, with something that's got the death penalty on the line, you better have your evidence crossed and dotted, and they did. It was just a clear-cut case, and sadly, 99.9% of the juries voted, obviously, to convict, or 100% to convict, but 99.9 wanted the death penalty, and 1 juror refused and wouldn't do it. And Governor DeSantis came out and, said it was a travesty that, this case, if any case warranted this very serious verdict, this case did. So a lot of people were just chatting about that. So different trending Thursday yesterday was I would say what was trending was emotion clear across the United States for the environment we're in. What we're learning about our economy. Then you've got these, shootings in Connecticut with these police officers, and then this particular very public, very disheartening, tragic case. So I think the one word that would describe yesterday would be what was trending: emotions.
Definitely, for sure. I was very obviously shocked, very saddened about the incident in Bristol, and just want to point out too that people, I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase that differently. I think a lot of different people think that there are routine police calls. There's nothing routine about it. There is nothing routine about it, because they go out each time with the knowledge, with the understanding of helping others that are in a very difficult situation that nobody would want to be in. So there's nothing typical, there's nothing normal. And, again, prayers, my heart and prayers go out to the families affected by that, the 2 officers that were killed, and of course the officer that is suffering from injuries. It's a travesty. I did catch the online briefing by, the Bristol Police Department. And I'm kind of getting a little choked up thinking about it, and the emotion. Like he wanted to give the knowledge that he knew, which was going on with the scope of the investigation at that time. And I can't even fathom the strength of all those people gathering to hear this horrific news. It just, I felt my eyes welling up, and there are just no adequate words.
There's 3 young officers, one who's got, 2 children, one on a way, another one, leaving a wife and parents and sisters behind, and, and they all, obviously received accolades in the past and awards, and, have their lives ahead of them, really. I mean, they were all 3 of them are young.
I know, it's just,
It's just, it's so sad. And then again, like I said, the emotion with, that piece to it. And a lot of people get very, emotional, saying, well, you can't bring politics up into it. You can't bring the times we're living in. But I think you can, because everything is so intertwined. Because, people are seeing decisions that were made by their local G's impacting a professional's livelihood, as well as how it impacts the public. So, there's consequences when you have that narrative of not supporting police. I mean, you have, crime is on the rise. You cannot hide it. Well, I guess you can hide it depending on what news outlet you are, because they're lying as to what's going on in our country. And I really think, all these different emotions are now so intertwined, and not to the fault necessarily of the public. I guess, well, yes and no. Because the public are the one who votes these people in that want to continue this narrative that of life ever-changing decisions that are made now. And, I think when you're in the line of fire, which we know officers are 24/7, they know that. Now, when you compare where we are today to where we were even 10 years ago, it's a huge difference. You didn't have all these types of calls coming that were there to specifically lure officers in, because you knew you were going to do harm. You might have heard maybe once in a balloon, some crazy thing like that, but it's happening too often. And so that is going to spark that emotion. And we're, anyone that has, the calling, that calling also impacts the family.
Mhm.
So, and if you have someone in that line of profession, it hits home. So I think for so many, it just, and I hate to use the phrase, the crazy times that we live in, because to me, it's not even crazy. It's we are borderline like breaking on emotion, on patience, on tolerance, on doing what's right for people. We're in such a fragile state, and I hope that we as people can come together and make that turn.
Yeah, I'm just checking some connections here.
Okay.
Okay, there we are. Yeah.
So you go from a day like that that's full of emotion, and you still feel it. Those emotions don't go away. So
No,
now,
they don't. They absolutely don't.
and you carry them out now to Friday, which we always chat about having Fantabulous Friday. Where do you find that trying to feel good when so many things around you are going so wrong, or that you're directly in? And I always say, if you feel low, if you feel depressed, if you feel stressed, if you feel sorrow, the best really medicine is to go out and do good, to help somebody else, to lend a helping hand, to be a listening ear, to bring comfort. So when you're feeling your lowest, do something, because gratitude is the greatest of all emotion. And even though you may be feeling like this sorrow, this heavy weight on your shoulders and your heart, that can be lifted by doing something good for someone else.
Oh, absolutely. And, I think you have to wake up with a grateful heart. And what I mean by that is, we have days that are crazy. And it occurred to me last night when I saw another blurb on the national news, and they were talking about the Philadelphia incident with the SWAT officers, and of course chatted about the Bristol, Connecticut incident. And what the news reporter said was, this is Bristol, Connecticut. Have you ever heard about Bristol, Connecticut in the news like this? So think about that for a moment. And I'm not just saying Bristol, Connecticut. Think about where you live right now, how that would impact your community.
Right.
Of course, there's a lot of emotions with that. So, maybe this morning you wake up with a grateful heart, wanting to do something good in your community. Maybe it's, you drop off some baked goods at the police department, or I don't know, a little something that, brings you joy, because that by the recipients that receive that, whatever it may be, are going to be so grateful. So I say we spread the grateful chain today.
Right. And they do have a GoFundMe for the families, and do something monetary if you can. But I think that's the point, that when as a country, we are just, our hearts are tugging in so many directions, between getting bad news like that, things that are going on in our economy, all these things that really, at the end of the day, they're out of our control. We're not in control of these things, and they happen, and how you can best push through it, push forward in a positive way that somehow is going to add joy. And, joy, again, it's an emotion that we struggle with, especially when we're going through hard times. Like, is it appropriate to be joyful? Of course, it is always appropriate to be joyful, because we know there's always a flip side to sorrow. There's happiness, there's good, there's evil, there's always that coin. So be on the right side of the coin and do your part to share your joy, because your joy is important. And the reason why it's important, because it's going to impact someone else. So look at it that way.
Yeah.
Now, talking about day 3 of detox. Here we go. So I am doing the 10-day, our 10-day. I've already started with my morning capsules. And as all of our viewers and listeners know, we are both thrivers. And we have a 10-day detox program. And they always recommend a detox, even, if you're not in with our nutritional company, which, by the way, you should. We're doing so many great things. That everybody should every 90 days detox, because again, what are we in control of? We're not in control of the air that we breathe in, which impacts our gut because you're breathing in that air. We're not in control of how food is manufactured, which we had that great guest on Wednesday, and we really chatted. Rachel, she did such a great job of really, talking about all those good things that, that we're in control and that we're not controlling, and how do we deal with and navigate through if we have autoimmune or, all these things that impact our gut, right? So they say every 90 days because we're not in control of those things. The food, how it's manufactured, the air we breathe in, even sometimes the water we drink. So they recommend that. But a lot of people detox, it's not easy. When you're on detox, so what this includes is I can eat all the vegetables I want, all the fruit I want. The only grain and white that I can eat is white rice, which sounds weird because you think, well, brown rice is better. You can only have white rice, no sugar, no caffeine, no alcohol, no, sugary treats. The only protein, no animal protein whatsoever, which is not really that difficult for me. But you can have a fish. So you can have, like grilled fish. I know that's not your favorite, but you can have fish, tuna fish, anything like that. And then obviously you try to get to like spinach, other avenues of protein. A minimum of 60 ounces of water, which yesterday, I believe I actually missed my mark by 10 ounces. I didn't realize until about midnight that I was off 10 ounces. So I, of course, was drinking during the night to kind of make up for it, which really didn't make up for it because it was already after midnight. But so I got to remember to, make sure I'm keeping track of that. But day 3 is usually the day that you'll really start to feel like crap. So what does going through detox, what are detox symptoms that people automatically succumb to and decide, I'm not doing this? Headache. So I started with a headache around 3:30 this morning. Sometimes you'll get diarrhea. Sometimes you'll get, stomach cramps. Sometimes you'll itch. It'll definitely impact your mood. You might feel restlessness during when you sleep. You're going to be irritable. Those are all part of detox. A lot of people don't. So when they hear the word detox, they think of, you might have, like a little bellyache or a rash. No, it's sleep, it's headache. It's just, sometimes you get that nauseous feeling and you have to push through that, because that's really, day 3 is that day where you're like, I don't want to do this. So what our particular detox is, we start with 3 capsules in the morning, and there's specific capsules for detoxing, great ingredients, and then you just follow that diet. Now I am trying to do intermittent fasting as best I can during this piece. The problem with it, there really is no problem with it. I still have that window to eat, which I'm following. But for whatever reason, and this doesn't normally happen when I do my 3 steps, I'm feeling a little hungrier earlier, which doesn't make sense to me because I'm an intermittent faster. Why all of a sudden, because I'm still eating a lot of the same foods I normally did. So I'm thinking it's psychological is what I'm going with. It. It's psychological. So today I'm going to try to get back on track, which is difficult on the day that I feel the worst. But that's what my goal is, to push through the headache, which I'm doing, making sure that I'm not short on my hydration. You can have decaffeinated products. You can have condiments, so you can still like cook with olive oil, mustards, those kinds of things. You can still use spices. The only thing that you have to avoid is all sugar, all starches except for white rice, fruits and vegetables, fish, and anything enriched in, no seeds and no nuts. That's the other 2 things. So, my goal today on this Fantabulous Friday is to get back to my normal, I still was intermittent fasting the first 2 days, but my window was wider than I normally would do. So I'm going to go back to my shorter window and push through it. Is it the most pleasant thing? No. We're going out to the Moose Club tonight to see Fun Fast, which is a great 60s, 70s band. And so, and it's fish fry. So what I'm going to do with the fish fry is, it's already prepped. So I'm just going to peel, the breading off. And what I love about their fish fry is it's very light anyway, so I can do that. And, I'm going to actually make sure that I have some of my food already in my belly before I go, because they serve vegetables, which I can eat, but they serve a baked potato, which I can't eat. So I'm going to make sure that I, have that in me. And yeah, no alcohol. I can do that. That's not a big deal. And dance, get some exercise in, because the other key piece to detoxing that people don't realize is you do not want to do strenuous and long-term exercising. And everybody goes, well, why? Well, your calorie intake is not what it normally is, number one. You're changing your detox. You're getting rid of a lot of the grossness that's in your guts and replenishing it and flushing it out. That is not a good time to go out and lift weights for an hour. So I'm still getting movement in. I'll get some movement in tonight with dancing, which I'm excited about that. And I'm going to push through it. So that's my goal, is to have a Fantabulous Friday, even feeling like crap.
Well, and there you go. That's good. Fantabulous Friday, and so many different things to feel fantabulous about, even in the midst of all the grossness in your gut.
That's right.
Oh my God. I wanted to bust out laughing, but I held off.
Yeah, that's what it is. So you said you had Chate was happening yesterday. What was the Chate?
Well, let's just say, where you were talking about grossness in the gut, let's just say that our sewer line had some issues.
Oh no.
And we'll just,
Is it now?
Pardon me?
Is it fixed?
For now it is, yes.
Yeah, good.
So, needless to say, while that was going on, you can't run any water, you can't flush the toilet, nothing like that.
No.
So
So
everything I went to do, I was like, nope, can't do that. Nope, can't do that.
It's so funny how you just automatically oh, I can't do that. I can't do that, especially with going to the bathroom. That's got to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I know TwoSistas always somehow goes to this shitter.
We always end up in the
talking about the shitter. That just happens. We don't care. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this. Excuse me. Go out and make it a fantabulous one. Create your fantabulous by having that grateful heart, because you never know who you might impact. And on that note, my name is Janice, aka Wellness Diva 5.0, and I am with TwoSistas,
and this is Carol, so aka gonna push through my third day of detox. I'm gonna rock this day out. We hope that you're gonna rock your day out. Push through whatever. Remember, Fantabulous Friday is a day to celebrate you. What are your wins? Look who this week. No win is too small. If it was all about remembering not to flush the toilet, that's a win, because that's pretty hard. If it was make your bed, that's a win, and you did it. Congratulations. If you started detox, that's a win. Celebrate you. Find out what those wins are. You probably have a lot more wins than you think about. Celebrate you. Have that conversation in the mirror. Let yourself know that you did a great job. We will have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday for Monday Mindset. Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.